So if you wanted to go out right now and buy yourself a pair of slides for the summertime, what are your options? We've got some of the classics like the Benassi slide from Nike or the Adilette from Adidas, but what if you wanted something a little bit more hyped? Well, then you start looking towards Yeezy slides, which are incredibly hyped and incredibly popular, but they're also pretty hard to get your hands on. I mean, they sell out instantly and a lot of them resell for like double the price. Well guys, what if I told you that we potentially could have the best of both worlds with us here today? So let's find out whether that's really the case. So here we have the box. Now the unboxing experience isn't anything incredible, it's nothing super high-end, it's pretty basic. You get a very slender shaped rectangle box all over blue with the 3 stripes just kind of diagonally reaching across the shoe. You've got some Adidas branding, but let's pull these things out. So guys, let me show you the latest creation from Adidas, and that is the Adidas Adilette Slide 2022. These things literally came out of nowhere. I feel like it was only a couple days ago where the first kind of leaked images of these things surfaced online. And fast forward a couple days and these things are in my hands. So let me quickly tell you how I managed to get a pair of these things and how you can get one if you want one when they do release. So these are actually set to drop on June the 23rd. So how I managed to get them is they just randomly shock dropped a couple days ago here in the UK, and I assume out in the US as well. There were a few different colorways available, I believe 3, this desert sand colorway, a lime green colorway, and then a mixture of the both. Now, like I said, in the future they will release a bunch of other colorways, some I really like, and I assume that's all gonna take place on June the 23rd. Now, when these things shock dropped on the Adidas app, you could actually use a discount code for these slides. So I managed to get 30% off, so I paid around £30 here in the UK. Officially, these things retail for £45 or 55 US dollars. So obviously we're going to address the elephant in the room, and that is the comparison to, of course, the Yeezy slide. How closely do they resemble? What is the comfort like? What is the foam material? And we're going to get into all of that. I mean, something that I only just realized before making this video is the fact that these things sold out and they are currently reselling for a little bit on StockX. So people are definitely hyped up for these things, and I think that's exactly what Adidas is intending with releasing this slide. You see, the problem with creating a product that is super limited like the Yeezy slide is that yes, you create a lot of demand through the perceived scarcity of the product, but what you end up doing is leaving a lot of money on the table because you can only produce so many. I mean, people want to pay you for your product, they are ready to hand you over the money, but if you decrease the scarcity and produce more pairs, then you decrease the demand. So what Adidas does, and I guess a lot of other brands as well, is they create very similar looking pairs of shoes so it can kind of catch a little bit of that demand from the Yeezy slides. If you're someone who's potentially going to pick this slide over the Yeezy slides, or hell, maybe you're someone who owns the Yeezy slides and you're looking at this like, hey, I'd like to add that in because these definitely do have their own thing going on. Well, what are you getting? Is it worth it? What's the comfortability like? Let's talk about it. So I do have to say straight off the bat, there's a lot to like about this pair of slides. It's a one-piece EVA foam material which contains 17% plant-based content derived from sugarcane. I guess it's somewhat similar to what they did with the Yeezy Foam Runner, where they made some percentage of that foam out of algae. Now, the design of this thing, I think, is the most kind of eye-catching effect. I mean, when I first looked at these things, I was like, what the hell are they made out of? Is it 3D printed? Well, the design was actually inspired by 3D topography and human expeditions to Mars. I mean, it's some kind of Minecraft-looking pair of shoes with all the ridges and the different lines in there. It's definitely very interesting. Bottom of the slide is the part that most resembles, I guess, human expeditions to Mars. I think another really cool thing about these is the minimal branding. It's pretty much identical to the Yeezy slides in that aspect, where they just didn't plaster the Adidas logo all over it. The only branding you're getting on here is the trefoil logo on the footbed of the slide, and then this very small text on the side which just says the brand with 3 stripes. Now, from a top-down look, you can arguably say that this potentially resembles 3 lines on the top here, but really, you could hardly notice it. Now, I will say that the material itself does feel pretty soft, pretty squishy, and definitely pretty cushioned, but when you compare it to the Yeezy slide, it definitely isn't as soft as that. I mean, whatever the hell this Yeezy slide material is just ridiculously soft. I would say that these find some kind of midpoint between just not being as soft as the Yeezy slide, but definitely being a whole lot softer than a regular pair of Adidas slides. That being said, when you're wearing these things, there's a really interesting footbed which kind of molds to your foot and wraps around, which I think is super comfortable. I'd say that that's something that also makes this slide pretty unique, is that most slides are kind of flat, and this one definitely has some kind of contoured footbed which feels really good on foot. They're comfy. I like the way that they feel on foot. No, they're not as soft and squishy, but I don't mind that. I feel like for a little bit of a slightly firmer feel on foot, these are pretty perfect. Now, as for sizing, this is where it gets a little bit tricky. I would recommend going true to size. Now, you could probably tell in the B-roll, these do look a little bit big for me, and that's because I went a size up. Yes, I was one of those who went with the same sizing that I normally get with the Yeezy slides, and I thought that translated to these, but no, I definitely recommend sticking with your true to size. It seems like they've definitely kept these more true rather than the Yeezys fitting a lot more smaller. Now, as for my recommendation, I think this is not only a great Yeezy alternative, I think it also has its own thing going on, and if you're into a really clean pair of solid foam slides for summer, I think it's a great option. But like, even if you have a pair of Yeezy slides, these are still different enough to be something that's compelling to throw into the rotation. I'm definitely keeping my pair. I like them. I think they're really cool. With that being said, guys, that pretty much wraps it up for the Adidas Adilette slide. Let me know what you think of these things down in the comments. Definitely eager to hear your opinion on the design and just what do you think? You're going to be going for these on June the 23rd? Let me know down there. But I want to thank you so much for coming through, hanging out for yet again another video. Thank you for liking, commenting, and of course subscribing. I'll catch you guys in the next one. But until then.